Good morning, Party Chat Sports. Welcome back to the channel. One of your hosts, Caleb Gill, and wow, the NFL season, the 2025 NFL season, has now reached its conclusion. We have a world champion, the Seattle Seahawks, and for those that are watching, you're probably wondering, like, Gill, you're a Jets fan. Why are you smiling so much? And it doesn't even have to deal with the Patriots losing. As much as I enjoyed watching the Patriots lose, I'm so happy for Sam Darnold. I could not be more thrilled for that man. Everybody's talked about it. Everybody's talked about his redemption arc. And we're going to talk about it a little bit more. We're going to talk about Sam Darnold, my boy. We're going to talk about Super Bowl 60 in this week's Monday Morning Drive. All right. Well, this Monday Morning Drive, it shouldn't be nearly as long as some of them have been in the past. There's one game to talk about, and it's the game, the Super Bowl, where the Seattle Seahawks won 29-13 against the New England Patriots. And look, Sam Darnold did not play a great game. I'm not going to say like, oh yeah, this was all Sam. There were a ton of things that Sam could have done better. However, he did not make the mistakes that Drake May made, and that ultimately was the deciding factor. Early on, you knew this was going to be a very, very defensive game. It was 9-0 heading into halftime with the Seahawks up. The Patriots had 50 yards of offense. I think they were averaging 2.2 yards a play in the first half. They'd given up 2 sacks. Like, the Seahawks defense was dominating. Both defenses were dominating. And there was a couple passes where, like, the first couple drives for Sam, there was a couple passes like, ooh, probably should have been picked. Got away with a couple. And in this game, because of how defensive this game was, it felt like whatever quarterback was going to make the least amount of mistakes was the one that's going to win. Which, that seems obvious, but it doesn't always happen. And Drake May made the most mistakes. Drake May threw 2 interceptions, fumbled once, and it cost him. It cost him big. Pick 6 on the 1 interception, and then was a fumble returned? No, it was not. And in the moment of that fumble, it was in the third quarter. I think it was towards the end of the third quarter. And Drake May fumbles it. And my initial reaction was this felt very much like the Cam Newton fumble in Super Bowl 50, 10 years ago. And the reason it felt like that for me was because it felt like that decided the game, you know. And it wasn't until the fourth quarter where the Patriots finally was able to put some points up on the board. And they tried to make it a game for a hot second. For a hot second, it looked like, man, okay, maybe the Patriots, it was 19-7 at one point. It's like, man, maybe the Patriots start to mount a comeback. Maybe they start to make things interesting. They score touchdown. That next drive, Seahawks, I think they went 3 and out. They were forced to punt. And it's like, oh, okay. I texted in the chat, uh-oh. But the Seahawks defense, lights out. How many sacks did they have? Drake May was sacked 6 times, and it felt like he should have been sacked more. It was a phenomenal defense. If you like defensive games, this was it. It was very boring. It kind of reminded me of the Rams-Patriots game at Super Bowl, I think that was 53 with Jared Goff. But the difference was that game was closer. This game, like, the Seahawks led the entire game. It really didn't feel like the Patriots had much of a chance. And Drake May didn't have much of a chance. The offensive line, I have to give so much credit to Mike McDonald and the blitzes that they were calling. Because Witherspoon was coming in multiple times out of the defensive secondary and blitzing, and it it looked like Drake May was seeing ghosts. Which I know is a funny thing to throw around because of Sam Darnold against the Patriots ages ago. Like, oh man, I'm seeing ghosts. Like, it felt like Drake May was seeing ghosts tonight. And the pass attempts were just not great. The Seahawks defense was getting after him. Everybody was getting in on the feast. Who all had sacks for the Seahawks in this game? Witherspoon had a sack. Murphy had 2. Mills had 1. And Hall had 2. Love had the interception. Well, and Wosu had the pick 6. But Lawrence was getting after it. Leonard Williams was getting after it. Boy Mafe, everybody in the front 7 for the defense of the Seahawks. They refer to him as the dark side. And Drake May was not seeing the light. He definitely was not seeing the light. The only light he was seeing was the one at the end of the tunnel. Like, all right, the light that you got to walk through to get to the end there. It was all darkness for Drake May and what he was seeing. There was nothing good about the Patriots. And we've been saying that they're frauds. So this is why everybody was saying and calling the Patriots schedule merchants. Because in the biggest stage, they didn't show. The only reason they made it was because Bo Nix snapped an ankle. If Bo Nix is playing in the AFC Championship, now that's a lot of ifs and or buts. Patriots made it. We also saw why Matthew Stafford was the MVP and not Drake May. Look what Matthew Stafford did in the NFC Championship game against the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle compared to what Drake May did against the Seattle Seahawks defense in the Super Bowl. His final stats, Drake May's, 27 of 43, 295 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, and then that lost fumble. And honestly, the stats he finished with is a lot better than how it looked. Because for the longest time, it was awful. It was so bad. The thing that, now, granted, the Patriots couldn't establish a ground game to save their lives. And they abandoned that quick. Ramondre Stevenson led the Patriots in rush attempts with 7. He had 23 yards. And then Travion had 6 for 19. Drake May had 5 for 37. They abandoned the run game. They were trying to put it on Drake May. Granted, with how much the Seahawks were loading up the box, there wasn't a lot of lanes. But it was a 1-2 score. It was 9-0 at half. For the longest time, it was 3. And I believe the Seahawks got that. Yeah, in the closing moments of the second quarter was when they made it a 2-score game. That entire first half, it was a 1-score game for the most part. And they still were just trying to force Drake May to throw. And it didn't work. Josh McDaniels did not call his best game. But also, Drake May played one of his worst games, I would say. Did not look good. From the Seahawks, Sam freaking Darnold, man. The big difference was both guys were getting pressured the entire game. The Patriots defense came to play. I'll give them that. The Patriots defense came to play. But Sam Darnold was able to evade the pass rush a little bit better. Not even just a little bit better, a lot better. And he was able to at least get some throw away, and sometimes they were completed. And those completed passes was also a huge difference. The lack of turnovers forced by the Patriots defense, and Sam being able to avoid the Patriots pass rush and not get sacked, not turn the ball over, was why the Seahawks won this game. Because the Seahawks defense had Drake May in hell. In hell. Sam Darnold, I said Drake May was sacked 6 times. Darnold was only sacked once. One time he was sacked. Granted, he did have a negative rush, but Sam had 2 rush attempts for 5 yards. He finished the day 19 of 38, 202 yards and 1 touchdown to A.J. Barner. And A.J. Barner was one guy in the first half, really, that was making plays for the Seahawks offense. Because, like, as much as I was trashing on the Patriots offense, the Seahawks offense wasn't that good either to start. It took a little bit for Kenneth Walker to get rolling. And in the meantime, Sam was in hell too. Like, he was missing passes. He was forcing the ball into some spots. He had a couple passes. Like, there was one, if the JSN, granted, the way he avoided the rush on that one was incredible. But he had JSN. If he's able to put it right in the breadbasket accurately, that's 6 in the first quarter. I think that was the first quarter. But Barner, he was making plays. He was taking those little dump offs, and then he's the one that received the only offensive touchdown for the Seahawks in this game. There was a case for him to be Super Bowl MVP. We felt in the chat, at least Drew and I did. Kenneth Walker is your Super Bowl MVP. He finished the day with 27 rushes, 135 yards. There was another big touchdown that got called back. He should have had a touchdown. And then he also caught the ball twice for 26 yards. That's the correct. If you're going to make it an offensive player, Kenneth Walker was the right choice for offensive MVP. For Super Bowl MVP. Cooper Kupp gets his second ring, catching 6 passes for 61 yards. The Offensive Player of the Year, Jackson Smith-Njigba, was not really. They locked him down. And Christian Gonzalez. If the Patriots would have won this game, it would have been because of Christian Gonzalez. He played lights out. It didn't matter who he was lining up against. JSN, Rashid Shaheed, Cooper Kupp. He was locking it down. He had a phenomenal game for the Patriots, and that should not go unrecognized. He very well could have been, again, if the Patriots would have found a way to win, it would have been because of Christian Gonzalez. There was 2 big plays. Potential JSN touchdown that Christian Gonzalez made a huge, incredible play on, and then a deep shot to Shaheed that Gonzalez had an incredible pass deflection on. So he played well. The Patriots defense played very well. I know the score is just 29, but at some point the dam's going to break, and that's kind of what happened. The dam just broke, and the Seahawks were able to at least get down the field into field goal territory, was able to hit their field goals. Jason Myers very well could have been the Super Bowl MVP, but you can't vote for kickers, which I think is stupid. Drew and I, at the same time, actually, we were like going through the Super Bowl MVP vote, because you can vote for Super Bowl MVP, and we both noticed you can't vote for a kicker. Jason Myers had a real argument for winning Super Bowl MVP. He was, what was he? Oh, come on. 5 for 5. 5 for 5, and then he made his 2 extra point attempts because, again, Seahawks had to pick 6. So, very defensive game. Was boring, I will say. If you like defensive football, though, this was the game for you. This was the Super Bowl. Not a lot of fireworks. Actually, really no fireworks. The one explosive offensive play was called back due to holding. But, man, I do not care. Sam Darnold is the first quarterback from his class to win a ring, to make it to the Super Bowl. It was always meant to be Sam. And I could not be more happy, more excited. And we'll see what happens with the Patriots. It's not going to get easier for them. They're going to play a first-place schedule next year, as opposed to their easy schedule that they got this year. So the path is not going to be nearly as easy. We'll see what the Bills, the Bills you would think might be back. We'll see there. The Chiefs, and then if you look at the AFC as a whole, are you really going to see another year in the playoffs without the Chiefs and Mahomes, Lamar and the Ravens. Burrow and the Bengals, maybe. You could throw them in there. The Jaguars are getting better. The Chargers with, like, this might have been the Patriots' one shot with Drake May and Mike Vrabel. So we'll see. I'm not upset about that, though. I'm pretty thrilled that the Patriots lost, and I'm even more excited that Sam Darnold won. From seeing ghosts to being a Ghostbuster, it's against the team that you've seen ghosts against. It's a phenomenal story. Everybody's harped on it, but I've gotten a question a couple different times. As a Jets fan, how do I feel about Sam Darnold winning a Super Bowl or having this much success? And it's just what I just said. I am so happy, so thrilled, so excited for him. He deserves it. He really does. The talent's always been there, and he got a couple tough breaks. Adam Gase. We don't need to harp on the past, but I'm really excited for Sam. He deserves this. So, Seattle Seahawks are your Super Bowl champions. They win 29-13 behind Kenneth Walker, your Super Bowl MVP, and the amazing Seahawks defense that's going to go down in the history books. They really are. Again, 6 sacks, 1 fumble recovery, 2 interceptions. That's a huge day in the office for the Seahawks defense. So, yeah, and I think that's good enough. I think that's enough recap and review of this Super Bowl 60. We're going to have a lot of draft content on the feed here at Party Chat Sports, so get used to it. If you love draft season as much as we do, this is a place to be, is Party Chat Sports. So make sure you're following us on YouTube, on TikTok, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. We're gonna pump out a ton of draft stuff, some team related, some NFL mock draft, like all of it. It's what we really enjoy doing here. If there's something you want to see from us this offseason, though, let us know. DM us, leave something in the comments, and it's gonna be a fun offseason. But to wrap up the 2025 NFL season, Seattle Seahawks, Sam Darnold, started the year with 60-1 odds to make the Super Bowl, and they're your champions. We'll see you later this week. Make sure you're checking us out anywhere and everywhere. Party Chat Sports. So until next time, peace.